There we go. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Hello, all you spiritual seekers of the truth. Thank you for joining us here today. And today I actually have a guest on the show. Instead of myself usually talking and explaining about stuff, I decided to have an amazing, beautiful guest on my show. So today I have with me Miss Ileana the Star Traveller on my show. And just to kind of tell you a little bit about Ileana, she is a certified crystal healer, teacher, Reiki practitioner, shamanic practitioner, sound healer. She's an intuitive, and in her current practice, she does energy healing, Reiki. She's a psychic who helps people to figure out their life journeys by looking at their life paths, what they would like to improve in their lives, achieve goals, create balance, and working on blockages. Ileana specializes in crystal healing, using crystal body grids, crystal chakra clearing, crystal wands, pendulums to clear emotional and physical blockages from the chakras, as well as bringing the auric field around the human body into a state of balance. She is also a Reiki practitioner who uses sound healing with tuning forks, as well as past life regression and soul retrieval sessions. One of Ileana's talents as a crystal practitioner is bringing healing energy to others by using crystal grids for the home in order to achieve success and good health. Ileana first started working with crystals in order to heal herself, and her success with this has inspired her to heal others and share her knowledge. As a crystal healer and teacher, Ileana offers several online Zoom workshops, such as the Healing Crystal Grid workshop and the Light Magic Manifestation workshop. So welcome to my channel, Ileana. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you to be here today.
Oh, thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you getting through all the ascension energies that are hitting us these days? Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Are you having any symptoms at all?
No, not at all. I've learned to block extensive, powerful energies so they don't affect me, because as a psychic and as a healer, I just can read vibration and I can calibrate it. So I've just learned to not experience ascension symptoms basically as much as I can help myself.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been trying to mitigate them as much as possible, but every now and then I get a little dizziness and headaches. And what I notice for myself is when I'm not getting through them okay, it's usually because I'm not hydrating enough. Like I tend to get really busy with what I'm doing, and I'm very ADD, so I'm hyper focused. And then I forget to drink enough water. And I really think it's important as we're going through this process that everybody hydrates a lot. And I need to almost set a timer to remind myself to hydrate. Otherwise I get kind of dizzy and I get the headaches and just the weird stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm genetically prone to migraines with paralysis and stuff. I do drink a lot of water, but I just try to calibrate myself and the energy. And it's not just ascension symptoms, it's what happens every day in life, like the stressors,
right?
Just how to balance that energetically, read the frequency, readjust, reattune yourself. Meditation, relaxation is so important. I'm like, without that, it's hard to balance. It's hard to ground. So I try to do meditation with metaphysical music. I try to do mindfulness speak. Like if I'm having a problem, I speak to myself, okay, here's what's going on. You need to let go of that. Release it, release it, release it. Even go 5 minutes outside, sit down on the patio, just breathe some fresh air. So it's mindfulness thinking as well, because what happens in life, we are emotional beings. We feel a lot of things. So how we release those feelings and process them is very important.
I agree.
And not holding the energy of whatever is going on. Like it has to be released. So I practice that mindfulness on myself as well.
Great. Well, I'm going to ask you some questions today for our viewers that hopefully will help them on their journey. And my first question is, your background is really super diverse. I mean, you do so many things in your business. And you and I have a lot in common, and one of those things is crystals. and we both love crystals. However, the difference is you actually wrote a book about it. You wrote a book, you published a book all about crystals, which congratulations, that's amazing. Just writing a book and publishing it is such a difficult feat. I've done it twice and I know all about it. So congratulations for doing that. But the question is, I'm curious, how did you get into crystals, and what inspired you to use crystals to heal people? And what was like your story or your background that led you into the whole crystal thing? And then also your book as well, like what inspired you to do that?
Well, what led me into working with crystals is because my own health was failing me. I had hemiplegic migraines, I had autoimmune issues, I had anemia, and I was lacking energy. It was basically a lack of energy. So the first thing that I did was start compiling a lot of information, just like articles on my computer about crystals, what they are, how to work with them, colors, vibration, frequency healing, because crystals hold, they are alive. They hold a frequency of vibration. It's very specific to certain healings of diseases and disorders, and just purifying your energy. So I started learning about crystals through the internet, like finding articles, finding things that resonated. So self-teaching. Then I took several courses about crystals. I got to level 2, and then I took crystal massage. I don't do crystal massage anymore because all my healing is online, because energy flows where energy goes. So you could do healing with crystals even through online sessions, because the resonance of the crystal still healing you with the energy. So I use chakra cleanses. I do that with the crystals in online sessions, and I direct the energy through the crystal and it clears the chakras. So it's about balance. I started working with crystals primarily for healing myself, and that's what led into writing the book. I was so annoyed at having so many different files about crystals, like keeping that all, it was all mixed up. So I did some research, and this book is like an encyclopedia basically, with a lot of my own write-ups and stuff about what I experienced with crystals, like meditation, manifestation, and it's based on healing with pendulums, with wands, with the crystal stones themselves, and making crystal grids for it to basically improve your own health, manifest through the crystal grids. You do a write-up, you put it under the crystal, and you put it on the grid, and it manifests what you need because the universe hears you. So it literally takes your manifestation from the etherics down to the physical world that we live in. And the crystals amplify that energy in your request, what you're manifesting. Or for home protection, these crystal grids really cleanse the home. If you set a specific intention, then the crystals will hear that, and it just cleanses the energy in your home. Like if you notice the bookcase behind me, it has a lot of different crystals.
Yes.
There's like 16 crystal grids in there that are doing their work right now.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I thought I had a lot of crystal grids. You have way more than I do.
Yeah, I have a crystal room. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it really helps me to uplift my vibration and raise my energy, because I was fatigued. So crystals gave me a profound meaning, and that's what I started learning for healing, how to heal with crystals first.
Wow.
And then everything else followed. So, and crystals help me to amplify my psychic abilities. When I hold crystals, I become a better psychic. It just helps to rebalance my brain, my neural
I noticed
pathways.
the same thing. I noticed the same thing for myself too. When I hold certain crystals, it helps boost my abilities, my gifts that I have, definitely.
Yeah, and crystals heal certain ailments, diseases.
I agree.
To help remove the symptoms, to remove blockages, toxins. My mom started with crystals. She loves crystals for jewelry and healing. So
Awesome.
It's a passion that she's always had, and she passed it on to me.
Wow.
And I just took it to a whole other level to healing.
Wow. So now I've heard, and well, actually, I believe this, that a lot of the people like yourself and I who are really like, I'm obsessed with crystals, and I have been since I was a little girl. I started collecting rocks off the ground and minerals that I resonated with when I was like literally 2, 3 years old. I started collecting them, and I've had collections of crystals and rocks literally my whole life. So I turned 55 a few days ago. So basically 52 years of my life, I've been collecting crystals. And what I believe and I've heard is that people like myself and you, that a lot of us were here in Atlantis. We were here during the Atlantean period, and possibly Lemuria, because Atlanteans use crystals for everything. I think they had entire crystal cities. And so I'm hearing a lot that there's a lot of us who've come back now that we're all here during the Atlantis time period, and that you can tell people who were here in Atlantis by the fact that their houses are all full of crystals. Do you think that's true?
For me, it's just the love of crystals. That's why they're here, because they help with my healing. It's very true that all the Atlantean cities or outposts, they were powered by crystal towers, and these were like a huge grid all over the earth.
Right.
It provided 0 point energy, so you didn't have to rely on electricity. Everything was powered by the crystals, and it's said that in Hollow Earth, they even have these crystal suns that
Yeah, I heard about that.
that are powered by the crystal towers. So these are huge, huge towers, and they took them back to inner Earth because this is technology that can be misused and it can destroy. It can do good, but it can destroy as well. And the Atlanteans in the end used that technology to actually destabilize their own way of life, because they just overused the technology, because it's crystalline technology. So it's not just a crystal that you vibrate with, it's also a technology that
Right.
powered the pyramids, that powered the Atlantean cities, it powered everything. So I mean, we're just getting to know what crystals could do. The piezoelectric frequency of the crystals, they power your computer, your monitor, your watch, because it's all, there's like moving electronic parts, and crystal quartz helps to power certain things that we use in technology today. So we're getting to know what crystals can do.
Yeah, I heard the military uses a lot of quartz crystals in some of their weaponry too. I mean, if you can use quartz crystals in weapons, imagine how powerful that would have to be of a stone to be able to turn it into a weapon or use it as a weapon. I mean, it's obviously powerful. So
yeah, I mean, crystals can be synthesized in labs now, so they could be lab grown and used for weapons, used in your computer, in your watches. I mean, they help to enhance microchips and stuff in the computer. So crystals, we're just tapping into what crystals can do, because that
yeah, I think so.
could harness the power of crystals. We're just tapping into old knowledge again and figuring out.
I agree. And you know, it's interesting because you were saying that you started into crystals because of healing. I was sort of the same way. You know, I've suffered with all these health ailments my whole life, and doctors were never able to help me. So I had to keep healing myself. And crystals are one of the things I used. In fact, I used to have a bloodstone necklace, and that got rid of a lot of my allergies. I used to have hundreds of allergies, and I started wearing the bloodstone necklace all the time. And most of those allergies just disappeared. I did that along with some energy, what they call body talk. I don't know if you're familiar with body talk, but I did body talk, and I did the bloodstone, and the combination of those two freed me from so many energy problems. And in my own life, I have experienced so much healing from crystals, so I can testify to the fact that they're very powerful. You know, not just crystals, but different types of stones, different types of minerals, even minerals like hematite, you know, which help you ground yourself. I've had mornings, I don't know if you've had this happen to you, but I've woken up in the morning after I've left my body and done my astral, like I'll leave and go do astral travel. And sometimes when I come back in, I am kind of discombobulated. I'm kind of like out of it, and I will go and grab my hematite. And once I get the hematite and I hold it for a while, I kind of recompose myself and come back together again.
Yeah,
So,
I try not to do a lot of astral travel because you can get in trouble. There's spirits, there's negative things that are out there. So
I shouldn't call it astral travel because I don't actually do astral travel anymore. I send out like a fractal of my consciousness, so my whole soul is still in my body. It's like a little spark of me that goes out.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I do it too. I don't do full on astral travel.
Yeah, because demons will come right on in and take you over if you do that.
Well, demons, entities, E.T.s, anything energetically can come in and do it. So I don't, when I teach astral travel, I don't teach you how to take your whole soul and just wander off. I teach how to do it with your mind and how to be safe when doing it. So you don't lose yourself when you learn astral travel. It's just one of the things, when I used to do full on soul astral travel, like leaving my body, my whole soul, I would be fatigued, discombobulated. I would encounter things that I had to ward myself against.
Yeah, me too.
So I don't do that anymore. I just, like you said, send a small fractal of the soul to travel to find out what I want, or I just use my psychic abilities to tap into what I want in the universe, because it's a morphic field. The universe holds all the answers, all the experiences. So you can psychically tap into it and get information instead of having to like do huge chunks of astral travel.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And you know, it's interesting, when I first started astral traveling, I just did it spontaneously and I didn't realize what I was doing. And that was before I learned, you know, more about it. I had some really horrific experiences because I shot out of the planet. I went all the way out into space. I went out of the galaxy. Like, I actually went all the way into the black, what they call the void. It's just like darkness, where you're looking back down at your little galaxy down there. And I'm like freaking out going, oh my God, what did I do? And then I came right back down 100 million miles an hour, like slammed into my body. My body jumped like 5 feet. I mean, my body like leapt when I slammed into myself. It was quite awful. It was a bad experience.
Yeah. And there's deep pockets of dark space or dark matter where you feel like you're being burned, even though that's your soul doing the traveling. When you get back into the body, it feels like you've been burned, because there's voids of space that are just black matter. So, and we as human beings, when we experience it, it's too much and it feels like we've been burnt. I've had that happen in astral travel sometimes, but again, I don't expend so much frequency anymore of my soul to do it. So I just expend a little bit to get more out of it, and I don't get burned or I don't encounter things I don't want. And I teach astral travel as well. It never happened spontaneously to me. It was taught to me. So to do it safely, because there's the right way to do it, and there is just when you don't know what you're doing with it and just floating about, like, there's things that can happen to you. That's reality. Just part of it, just knowing what's good, how to do it, and what not to do, so you don't get in trouble with it. It took me years to learn that, and to experience what works for me and what I'm comfortable with astral travel.
Wow. So getting back to your book that you wrote about crystals, so can you share with everybody today a little bit about what will they learn? So if I were to buy your book, what am I going to learn? Like, what am I going to take away from it? What are the major concepts that you're teaching in that book?
Sure. So the book is called Crystal Grids, The Art of Healing with Crystals. So the first couple of chapters teach you what crystals are, how to buy crystals, because it's a whole field of knowing where to buy them. The thing that's happening now that I've noticed, there's less and less metaphysical stores open. So the buying process of buying crystals has changed. A lot of it is online now, like Etsy and Amazon, and reputable crystal sellers. So you kind of have to look around and find what's reputable, where to buy crystals. Really look at the images and the descriptions of what you're getting, because if you don't look at what you're buying, you might not get what you want. It might be something totally different. So
yeah,
that
painted glass from China.
yeah,
I've done that. I've gotten
yeah,
glass from China.
Don't buy crystals from China.
Yeah.
That's I always try to buy it locally in a metaphysical shop if I can, or on Etsy and Amazon with reputable sellers that are at least in the same country as you are, or it's quick shipping and handling, because you want quick shipping and handling. If it's not, then it's from China, guaranteed.
Right.
So just be careful about buying. And if you're buying the crystals in person, feel them out. Like, take the crystal in your hand, touch it, feel its vibration and frequency. If it resonates with you, then it's meant to be a crystal that you'll use for whatever application you want it for: healing, meditation, relaxation, just feeling its energy, the positive upliftment. So that's the first couple of chapters. What are crystals? How to buy them? Where to buy them? And also how to use them. Then I discuss crystal wands, crystal pendulums, what those things are, because they're crystal tools. Where you could buy them, how to make them, kind of the history of those things as well, and how to heal with them. And also how to use crystals in meditation, how to use crystals in crystal grids, because there's crystal grids that are 8.5 by 11 that protect your house, help with manifestation. There's also crystal body grids where you place the crystals around your body for particular types of healing. So that's all that I discuss in the book. Wow. Those are the primary chapters. And I also discuss crystal elixirs, because you can pair up certain types of crystals to put into your water that will cleanse your water and mineralize it. So it's called crystal elixirs. I also talk about crystals that you shouldn't use for elixirs, because some crystals are toxic. They may look beautiful, but they're not something that you should put in your water. Yeah. So, for example, clear quartz and rose quartz are fine to put in water. The little palm stones. You don't want to put anything rough in your water. You want to be using palm stones. Those things you can actually, an amethyst. The palm stones that are polished, you can put that into your water. It'll cleanse your water, detox it, and it'll be mineralized with the properties of those crystals. So you'll get an energy boost with those types of crystals. Those are the main safe 3 ones that I know off the top of my head that are easy to buy anywhere. Little palm stones, like 3 or 4 of them in your water.
Yeah, I have a lot of palm stones, but I've never put them in water before.
Well, you can. I mean, the ones that are polished, you can do that with them. The basics are clear quartz, rose quartz, amethyst, carnelian. You can also use carnelian and put it in your water. So there's tourmaline. As long as it's polished, you could also put it in water. So there's many different crystals. And then I have the indexes, where I have a whole kind of like a database written about the major crystals that you can use for healing, that you can use for energy attunement. So I provide an index of all of that information. I'm currently expanding out the book, because I actually want the index to be bigger. There's more information on rarer crystals that I just recently found. So this is a project that I'm finishing up, so I'm going to re-upload and republish the book in a month or 2 once I'm done.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just there's so many crystals out there that are wearable for healing. That
thousands, I think. I mean,
yes,
that I've seen, or hundreds at least, hundreds of different types.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm finding crystals that I never knew about that I've worn, like lava stone, for example. It's very good at grounding. It's very good at healing a lot of emotional things like trauma. My mom wears them all the time. I wear it, and I didn't have that in my book. So I'm expanding the index of the crystals, because the book is all about healing with crystals, and it's also an encyclopedia for crystals, for selecting crystals, buying crystals, understanding what they are and how to work with them.
Wow.
So that's the book.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that, because you know, when I'm working with clients, I will talk to them about crystals, but very basic information. And then I always recommend people to buy a crystal Bible or something that, because there's a book called The Crystal Bible, but there's lots of books out there about crystals, because people just don't have any clue how to use them or what to do or even how to pick them out. So this is great that you put that together.
I love my crystal Bible, but it doesn't tell you how to work with crystals. It just tells you what the healing properties of crystals are.
Yeah, it just basically says the name of the crystal, what region, like what country it comes from, what state it comes from in the US, and then what things that it can heal, like what conditions it can heal or what emotions it can heal. That's really about it. It doesn't really teach you how to use them. It doesn't really teach you how to pick them out. It's not very in depth like that. It's very basic. It's a very basic book.
Yeah. So my book is not just about crystals. I also teach manifestation, like how to do it with crystals, how to do word manifestation. That's in the book. How to meditate with crystals, and just tips and tricks of what you can do with crystals, plus sort of adding in the crystal Bible aspect with the index of crystals, what they are, how they work, the healing properties, the colors, and how to match up crystals with other things like elements, chakras, zodiac sign. That's what I'm expanding the list.
Wow. So your book is really thorough. I mean, it's like a really complex book that really covers all the different subjects around crystals. That's awesome.
Yeah, it does. But I kind of want to expand that out. So I'll be republishing it when I'm done.
A lot of us republish our books and edit them and do that several times.
Yeah, because the way I use my book is like the Crystal Bible. I use that index a lot, and there's just a lot of things that I want to expand on for those crystal index stuff. So that's what I am in the process of reworking it. So it's pretty easy.
Awesome. So many years ago, I trained as a shaman with the Navajo Indian shaman. You know, I didn't get up really high in level. You know, I'm not like an adept, like shaman master or anything, but I had basic shaman training. And I noticed that you practice shamanic stuff in your business. So what type of shamanic training did you have? Like what type of shamanic practices do you use in your business?
I was trained as a Native American shaman. So I was trained to get in touch with the earth, with nature, to understand the concepts of nature, how that works, how it works with humans, how to use different tools that exist in nature, like to make drums. I purchased my drums online. I don't make drums, but I was taught the process, like that drums can take you on healing journeys. There's the talking stick. There's so many tools in shamanism that uplift and revitalize your soul. I was taught telekinesis, a little bit of telepathy with crystals, the elements, how to raise the elements, fire, water, air, earth, wind, how to work with those elements to actually access them with your mind, spoon bending. So telekinesis, those were little parts of the training in level 1 and 2, how to make healing sprays, for cleansing your home, how to use Palo Santo, how to use sage to sage yourself and clear your body. Those are all beginner things in level 1 of shamanism. Level 2 and 3 were spent learning how to do past life regression, past life readings.
Wow. Okay.
So I have, in my line of work as a shaman, I do past life readings, and I take you on a shamanic journey where you're in a semi-relaxed light trance, but you're very aware of where you're going to explore your past lives. And also I do soul retrieval. So sometimes we have fragments of our soul that gets lost along the way or is injured, and it needs to be retrieved to be brought back into wholeness and balance and alignment and in better health. So soul retrieval helps with that, and it's incorporating energy healing as well, because I'm a Reiki practitioner, so I incorporate energy healing into some aspects of soul retrieval if it needs that. I also teach astral travel. That's something my shaman teacher taught me. So those are the three main things that I do with shamanism.
So you kind of answered my next question, which was the fact that you do past life regression and you do that soul retrieval. And I was going to ask you, you know, for somebody who's never done this type of work before, what could they expect in a soul retrieval session or in a past lifetime regression? Like what would they expect to accomplish or to see or to feel or to hear? You know, what kind of an experience are they going to have doing that?
So when somebody requests a past life reading with me, I always say, create a few questions about what you'd like to look at in your life, because sometimes they have questions about what's going on in their life, and a past life self of them in another era, they can actually help them answer that, to give them guidance. How sometimes things from a past life can help you in your current life, information, advice, guidance, because you can tap into your spirit guides, your totem animals, your higher self in a past life reading, not just seeing a past life reading of yourself from the 15th century in a castle or seeing an E.T. past life. You could also talk to them. You could also talk to your spirit guides, totem animals, spirits themselves of people who've passed on in your family. So you could do all of that in a past life because you have access to unlimited dimensions, unlimited energy.
Right.
And soul retrieval is primarily for rebalancing your health, something physical, traumatic, blockages, like going back. Sometimes people have repressed memories of what's happened to them in their life.
Yeah,
so it's going back. Trauma. Yeah, it's going there and actually working through the trauma, releasing the blockages, belief systems, physical pain, energetic pain, releasing all of that and recovering the memories and releasing the memories themselves of the trauma. So, and again, sometimes they will see past lives of themselves in a soul retrieval.
So I'm curious, have you ever had, like, you hear people who do past life regression and they find out there's somebody famous or somebody important or they had some impact on history somehow. Have you ever had a client that had that experience at all, or were they just normal kind of lifetimes that they saw?
I've never had any clients that saw themselves as celebrities or anybody famous. They've just had lifetimes of something significant or meaningful that sort of followed in their current lifetime. A lot of them want to know, was I male? Was I female? What was I doing? What work was I doing? How was I dressed? Did I have kids? Did I have relatives? Like, did I die? Why did I die? Why was it so traumatic? You know, those basic things, what past life readings are supposed to help you with. Because sometimes they're born with trauma.
Like, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You're born with, you can hold on to past life trauma. I did it myself. I had a clear past life trauma of drowning. I was terrified of water. I would have panic attacks when I would go into a pool or the ocean or a lake or a river where the water was higher than my chest. The minute the water got higher than my chest, I'd start having a panic attack. And because I had drowned in past lifetimes and I had to clear that trauma.
Yeah, I had a client who that happened to. They didn't ask for a past life reading. They asked for a remote viewing to look at a past life, for me to psychically look at that. So we didn't do the whole journey, but they asked me to look at remote viewing, what happened in it. Like, why do I have the fear of drowning? Why can't I go into the ocean? And this person had a female lifetime when they were young and they died in Cuba. They drowned accidentally.
Oh. Wow.
Yes, so that's why they were having the stuff with the water. So we kind of worked on it a bit to release that energy so they don't have panic attacks near water and bodies of water, because they love the ocean. They want to go swimming. So you can learn so much in a past lifetime, why you feel the way you do in this lifetime, and release trauma. I think past lives are relevant for certain things.
Yeah,
but but I do try to share with clients not to get so enamored with those past lives where you're revisiting the information that you get from your session, because
Right.
we live in the current world now.
Right.
So whatever we see in the past life session, reading, regression, whatever you do, take it with a bit of wisdom, with a grain of salt, but don't obsess over that.
I
Live your
agree.
life in the current
Yeah.
moment. It's supposed to
Right.
help you know who you were, so that you can improve on who you are now.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's a really good way to kind of help you figure out why your personality may be the way it is now and why you have certain relationship challenges. A lot of times, a lot of people's relationship issues can be a result of past lifetime relationship situations, especially when you're talking about soul group families coming back together and playing different roles over and over, like your father is now your uncle or your sister or your wife, or you switch you have these role reversals where you all come back together. And I think if you're able to look at past lifetime relationship kind of situations, it kind of sheds light on maybe a relationship that you're having right now, a problem.
Yes, true. That's so
So,
true. And sometimes you can talk to your past life selves to figure out what the relationships were and how it's connected to your current lifetime, because you can literally psychically talk to them. All you have to do is ask in the session. So those are definitely things that you can do in the session. Figure out relationships, dualities, like why do you have the personality you have now? Like why do you make the choices that you make now? Sometimes your past life self in whatever lifetime can help you figure that out. So it's personal growth, personal learning, personal work.
yeah, awesome. So my next question for you, Ileana, is you and I, one thing that we have in common, me not as much as you, is the ET thing. We both have an interest in it. We both have connections to them. I've been seeing them in my meditations for years, different ones who have visited me. I've even seen reptilians. I've seen, blue avians. I've seen Pleiadians. I've seen a lot of what are those guys called, the Nordics. I've seen a lot of them. I've seen people from Asgard, that kind of thing, that have come to me in meditations to communicate or whatever. And I've seen ships, ever since I was young. I've seen ships on various occasions and stuff. But you have some pretty major experiences that make mine look like nothing. So could you maybe share a little bit with everybody about some of your experiences with these beings, and how that has affected your life and impacted your life?
Yeah, as a little kid, I've always known that there's so much out there in the universe, E.T.s, different planets, ships. So I already came in with the knowledge that that's okay and that exists. Nobody ever told me it doesn't. I'm a star traveler, so I've had a lot of ET lifetimes that I connect to, and ET soul families like the L race, who are kind of like from 12th higher dimension, and some of them are from 6th and higher, and they have these energy biological ships that I've been on, called the Anishen and the Akashen. The Akashen is like planet size, the Anishen is smaller, and they claim to be 15,000 years from the future. So they work a lot with crystal technology. Their ships are semi-organic. And I've gone in and learned a lot from them about, I guess, what energy is, how to work with energy, how to do energetic healing. Like they taught me that. I've worked with Andromedans, different Andromedan groups, on what vibration is, what my soul purpose is, because I've suffered with actually why I'm here on this planet. So they've helped me, like, okay, well, you're here, you've done what you came here to do as a human soul. I've accomplished that, but I have a lifetime to live. A human lifetime is 100-something years. So what can I do in the meantime? Like, I always knew I didn't want to be here on this lower density dimension, but working with the Andromedans helped me to be okay with where I am, to balance things. And sometimes when I was doing the astral traveling, I would go to different planets and meet different groups of ETs like the Anasani, who are very physical, like they're sort of feline. And the way they live their life is so in tune with nature, protecting their home habitats. They're also seers. So they have seer enclaves that can see the future, and they just balance energy so well. So I've met so many different ETs, and I'm an ET. I don't consider myself fully human. I've embraced more of my ET genetics. In my life, it's helped me to improve life. It's so much better. So for myself, ETs, I am an ET. So meeting ETs is wonderful, but it's nothing new to me.
Right.
It's always been part of my life. I've always telepathically connected with ETs.
I know that my whole life since I was a little girl, I've never felt like I belonged here. I always felt like this is not my home. I don't belong here. And that was until I learned that I was from Sirius before I came here. I was in the Sirius star system, and then I came to Earth in a human body, but I was in Sirius before. And you know, when you learn that you are kind of an ET, you know, or whatever, it's kind of, you know, interesting. And I talk about this in my book, the fact that there's human souls. Those are souls that have only been on Earth. They've never been anywhere else. And there's millions of those. And then you have our starseed group, like ourselves, you know, myself and yourself, we're starseeds. So we came from other places. We came here. And I believe we all volunteered and raised our hand to come save this planet and do this whole ascension thing, you know, to take the grid down and free the planet. A lot of us came here for that. Some of us maybe not, but I think most of us came here for that. But it's always fascinating to, when you watch a lot of these videos of people like David Wilcock and Corey Good talking about all these different races of extraterrestrials, it really kind of blows your mind, because that's not what we've been taught here on this planet since we were little. What we've been taught is from religion that God created just this planet, and there's just these humans here, and we're all there is out in space. Like there's nothing else out there. And the thing I always tell people is religions have puntified God. Like they've taken God and made God this little puny dude on a throne with a beard. God is way more vast. That's actually insulting to God, what religion has done to God. It's insulting to God, because God is I am that I am. And God is the creator that keeps birthing and creating endlessly throughout eternity. I mean, it just keeps creating and creating. So there's billions of planets just in our galaxy. There's billions of planets that have life on it. And then you leave our galaxy and there's different dimensions, and then there's parallel universes, and then, you know, there's all of these things, and there's beings in all of these things. There's beings in different parallel universes. There's beings in different dimensions. There's beings on different, you know, planets, and heaven itself is just located in a different dimension. It's not some like thrown up in the sky somewhere. It's a different dimension that's in the space that we're in right now. But a lot of people have a really hard time, because they've been so indoctrinated into churches and religions. They have a really hard time wrapping their brain around the concept that we're not the only thing that exists, that God created.
And in a lot of the psychic readings that I do, where people ask about past lives or what's my soul mission on Earth, my soul mission wasn't to come here and voluntarily uplift the planet. It was to actually retrieve somebody and rescue somebody that was caught here 2 million years ago in the fall of Atlantis.
Oh, wow.
So I was to get them and to release them and let them leave, because they were trapped here in cryostasis for 2 million years. So I've accomplished that, but I choose to do healing and work with Gaia's energies to heal the planet, to heal others, to heal myself. So it's part of my mission now, but it wasn't originally. That's not why I came here. So every planet has energetic laws, energy rules and laws, just natural laws of the universe. And here, if you have a specific thing you need to do on Earth, like come and get somebody, sometimes you can't do it in that higher state of yourself as that ET being. you need to incarnate and you need to do what you need to do here. You awaken to what the mission is, to what the soul mission is. I did awake, and it was to get the person that is part of my kind of what I'd call a soulmate, a heart soulmate. So, and they were released and they were saved, but I get to still live out my human life on this planet, because it's
Right.
part of, when you're energetically here, you're in physicality,
Right.
you live it out to the best of your ability.
Yep.
So it wasn't something I volunteered for. It was, I came here for a very specific purpose.
Wow. That's cool that you know that, though. The fact that you actually know that, that's great, because so many people just don't know. I mean, a lot of my clients coming to me because they don't know why they're here. Like, they don't know what their purpose is.
Well, I didn't either until I started to do the hypnosis, self-hypnosis. And that's why I took shamanism, specifically for hypnosis, soul retrieval, and astral travel. But it taught me so much more. Taught me respect nature, respect myself, respect others.
Right.
Because as a shaman, you're to do good, not to harm, like knowing the balance of things in reality. And about E.T.s, learning about E.T.s, the sources of who tells us who E.T.s are. When you mentioned Corey Goode, I instantly had a bit of a recoil, because Corey Goode's been involved in some controversy and stuff. So when people ask me, who should I follow to learn about E.T.s? The first thing I say is, if you're listening to somebody who's had ET experiences, also listen to the vibration of that person. Are they sincere? Are they telling the truth? Because some people are con artists. They'll just tell you a story about ETs and their experiences.
Right.
So I say, you have to make sure you feel good listening to this person. Use your common sense and intuition to scan them energetically. We all have some psychic ability. We all sense things. If it feels right, it's good. If it feels wrong and oily, not so good. I've never felt totally comfortable with Corey Goode and the energy around, vibration around Corey Goode. So I've always questioned.
Right, he's part of the secret space program, though, so that's probably why. When you're involved with military and a lot of there's a lot of nefarious stuff going on this planet with the military industrial complex, and I think he's deep into that. So I think that might be part of why you're getting that feeling, or whatever that might be.
But I was also in the SSB, and I did some very disturbing things in there. I just say check more than one source about what ETs are and descriptions of ETs. I never count on just one source to learn my ET knowledge. I also look within myself to feel, do I resonate what I'm being told? Are these ETs, this information, does it resonate? And if it doesn't, I'll just go look elsewhere. So it's important to question things in reality. Don't just have one source. Look at many different sources of information about ETs.
Absolutely.
See what resonates with you and what feels good for you. Because if it doesn't, it probably isn't resonance.
Well, that's one of the things in my practice that I do with my clients, is teaching people how to discern, how to be like a human lie detector and discern the truth from a scammer or a fraud, or somebody who's demonically controlled or negative ET controlled, or they've been taken over by, one stepped into them or something like that. I help people discern, the difference, because there's a lot of people who don't know how to tap into that intuitive ability that you and I have, because we know that we're able to use our intuition. I mean, I am a human lie detector. I can scan anyone and tell you if they're good, bad, ugly. I mean, I can see them, like I can literally see who they are.
Yeah, same.
It's not an easy thing. I was born this way with my abilities, but what I tell people is, just because I was born this way doesn't mean they can't develop it, because humans only use a quarter of our brains. And basically my abilities that I have, I just happen to be using the part of my brain that some people haven't learned to use. They haven't, learned how to do that. Or, one of the things I give people is my pineal gland decalcification protocol, because the cabal has purposely calcified everybody's pineal gland so they don't have all these psychic abilities and stuff. And so that's important.
I mean, I've had several people ask for pineal decalcification sessions, healing sessions, and I see it as percentages, how much it's calcified, it needs to be
Yeah, me too.
decalcified. I see mineral deficiencies. I see past physical pain, trauma. Uh, I'm like a X-ray scanner, I would say, because I see everything energetically inside the body. But it's like a medical intuitive energy reading that I do on the body. It's just part of the energy healing session, part of the Reiki session, and that I tap into the universe, I tap into the healing energy, and I focus the energy for healing. My hands move in healing, and I do it with crystals to incorporate it. But mostly it's hands. I direct the energy, and energy flows where it needs to go. There's no, it doesn't have to be just in-person healing. It could be long-distance healing. Right. It's the same thing. You don't have to touch a person to heal them. It's not healing touch. It's healing energy, vibration, focusing energy for healing. And E.T.s can heal you. Sometimes you have E.T. contacts. They send you energy for your healing. They're part of your soul family. So sometimes they do healing, or healers work with E.T. energy to heal as well. So that's something else part of E.T.s and healing.
Yeah, there's the Arcturians who are, in fact, I've had a lot of clients who are Arcturians, and they're all like naturopathic physicians, or they're Reiki people, or they're using like herbal medicine or something to heal. They're doing some sort of a healing practice. But I've had a lot of clients who are from Arcturus before they came here. A lot of Arcturians. I've had some blue avian clients who are also healers, because the blue avian beings are very into healing as well, which is really cool. And some of the Pleiadians do healing as well, I noticed. So it's kind of interesting, but it seems like there's certain races of E.T.s that are a little bit more adept or into the healing, doing the healing work is what I've noticed.
Yeah, so. I mean, I love healing animals, raccoons in particular, because they're so innocent. They're always open-minded and open to receiving healing. They get hit by their paws in particular, get hit by cars, they get attacked by something else bigger than them. So I've been constantly healing paws, like bite wounds from other raccoons, like literally using my energetic ability to heal, like a laser to stop bleeding, to grow skin cells, to grow fur, and to straighten out their bones and paws, like to heal bones and stuff.
Wow.
I mean, it's
I love raccoons too. They're adorable.
Oh, we have a whole raccoon farm here because we live in the forest. So, and they're small creatures, so they're very innocent. They're easy to heal because they're so open to it. There's no blockages. And they talk to me. There's one raccoon who comes around. He will eat grapes, but he also eats cashews. And he's like, "Can you give me some cashews?" I can hear him talking, and it's in English. "Can you give me some cashews?" And I give him cashews, and he'll eat it. And he's the only one that eats them. The other raccoons don't eat it.
Oh, interesting.
So I call him my cashew man, because I think it's a male.
That's so cute.
My cashew raccoon, because he's the only one that, and I know when he comes to the door, I might not see him, but I hear him. I'm like, "Can you give me some cashews?" "Cashew raccoon? Yes, I want some cashews." In English. It's like higher form thought. So animals are very good to communicate with in terms of being a shaman, because I've had a hard time with like birds, or like, well, there's certain animals, I shouldn't say that. Actually, birds tend to attract me. I also get a lot of dragonflies, butterflies, bees that love me, like bumblebees, whatever. But I also have been able to telepathically communicate every now and then with dogs and cats. Since I was really young, and it doesn't always happen all the time. It's like I don't have
100% control over it, because there's times where I don't know if it's because that animal is stubborn, but there's certain animals that I can't do that with, but there's some, I guess I think it's because certain animals are more open to it, and certain animals are not. And when it comes to pets, because pets can be really, really stubborn, but there's certain cats and certain dogs that I have like that link, link with. And
Yeah.
I love when that happens, because they're just unconditional love. All animals are unconditional love, and even butterflies and dragonflies, they're unconditional love. And it's just an amazing experience. It always makes my heart feel so happy when I have that kind of an experience.
Yeah, and everything is alive and talks. When I do healing, people's organs tell a story. Those organs can tell me a story, what they've gone through and what pain they have. So everything is very sentient, even if it's a human organ, it's alive. So it speaks and it has telepathic messages that sometimes when I'm healing somebody's tailbone told me to regrow the vestigial tail. It asked for its tail back. I'm like, no, I'm not giving you the tail. No. Half of the session was spent, give me back my tailbone. I want my tail. I'm like, no tailbone, I'm not regrowing your tail, sorry. I was healing something lower back, but the tailbone is part of the lower back, so it had a message and a communication with me. And I was smiling the whole session, and the client asked, why are you smiling? I'm like, well, your tailbone is asking to regrow its tail. And they laughed. I mean, it was hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, I do tell people in the session, sometimes your organs will talk to me and I will know if you've eaten fish. That's why you have some acid reflux, because did you eat fish in the last 2 days? Some of your organs are telling me you've had fish. So organs do speak a story.
Yeah, all of our body, which is why, one of the things I teach my client is talking to their organs, talking to their body. You need to communicate, because everything communicates. Like every cell in our body has the ability to receive communication, from our brain. And as they say, mind over matter, we have control over everything in our body, but people haven't learned how to master that yet, because they don't teach it in school,
No.
So it's something that as you go through your journey, you learn these things, but it's not something they teach. And I'm hoping that someday, I was an international stress reduction expert for a while, I'm hoping that someday they teach children in elementary school how to deal with stress, because parents do not teach their kids from when they're little how to deal with stress. Nobody is teaching these spiritual concepts to children. Nobody's teaching these mind body things to children. And what I've been shown for my future is I'm going to be working in these new schools in the future, where I'm going to be teaching children this stuff, because I love working with kids. I like no offense to the adults out there, but I just love being around kids more than adults. It makes me happy, because they're little love bugs, and they're just full of happiness and joy. And I'm really in touch with my inner child, and I love, being in touch with my inner child. So like, I see myself literally in the future teaching children, things like how to deal with their emotions. Nobody's parents are teaching them how to deal with their emotions. And so you have these kids growing up to be these messed up, unhealthy, crazy, unbalanced people, because they're not learning these things as children, or any of the spiritual stuff. Like, they're not being taught how to use crystals for healing, or how to, nobody's learning any of this.
I'm constantly being asked by clients, what are my gifts? Do I have the gift of healing? And sometimes I do pick up that clients have that ability to potentially heal, but you need to learn how to focus energy. People ask me, can't I just be a healer instantly? I'm like, no, sorry.
No. It takes a while to learn that. It doesn't just happen.
I had to learn all 4 stages, levels of Reiki and shamanism and crystal healing to do energy healing. I've also developed my own practices of energy healing. I go beyond Reiki. I don't limit myself to Reiki symbols. I incorporate all healing tools that I feel will heal, because it's energy. So like pointing your hands this way and saying, I'm healing, I'm focusing the energy, but you need to know how to direct.
That's not enough. That just doesn't cut it.
No, you need to know how to access the energy, first of all, like how to harness it, and then send it out to focus on the organs where it needs to go and remove blockages, help heal symptoms. And people ask me this as well in healing. Can you cure my disease? I'm like, I don't try to cure anything because I can't guarantee how your body will react to energy healing. Like, I can't give you 100% cure guarantee because everybody's different. What I do with energy healing is it helps to relieve and heal the symptoms of disorders, diseases, remove blockages, help heal trauma. I can't guarantee 100% that it'll cure you. There's just, nobody can make that guarantee.
Yeah, I can't. I've never been able to guarantee that either. And the one thing I tell people too is it goes beyond just that. It's the fact that maybe the health issue that you have is there because you're supposed to be learning something from it. And if I remove it from you, you're not going to learn the lesson that you're supposed to learn from this. So it's just, there's a lot of reasons why we can't instantaneously heal people. There's so many reasons for that. So I just always tell people I can't guarantee what the result is. All I can say is that you will have some sort of positive change. Is usually what I say is they will have a positive change, but I can't guarantee what that is or how much of it, or, I can't guarantee they're going to be completely healed. That's what I always tell people.
Yeah, well, I had one person who kept on and on in Messenger, like, guarantee how much, and I knew this person didn't want a healing. They were just searching for information to try to get a cheap healing. And I said, you either trust it or you don't. You want to try it or you don't. I mean, I offer 15 minutes healing sessions at $35 as well, just introductory for you to see how you feel with it. If it's good for you, great. If it's not, I'm not here to force people into any experience. A healing is about allowing yourself the opportunity to try something out to see if it works for you. If you like it, then you can have a longer session. If you don't have to get another session. You can go to another healer. So I offer different packages of healing options for duration and prices, because I know that everybody is different in their levels of what they want to try and why. So that's why I try to make it as accessible and open to people as I can. That's
Awesome.
kind of just because I don't want to be the person that hinders somebody's the getting experience of just trying an energy healing.
Right.
So I want.
Well, it's all a process. It's a process, and it's also a journey, and it's part of the journey. And our job, it's kind of like my clients who want me to spoon feed them every single answer, but that's not what Yeshua asked me to be teaching. I was asked specifically to teach people how to get their own answers, to go directly to source and directly to Christ consciousness and to the ascended masters and the angels and the guides and, stuff like that. I'm not supposed to be spoon feeding everyone all their answers. I'm supposed to be teaching them how to get all the answers themselves on their spiritual journey, because we have those answers within ourselves from our higher self, accessing our higher self. And I always tell people, your higher self, because they're like, what is your higher self? Well, your higher self is, that part of you that existed before you came into this body and that will keep going on forever. And it's the part of you that is past, present, future. So it knows your whole history. It knows where you've been, where you're going, everything.
Yeah.
So
it might not have the same name as you do, because my higher self is female named Janaea, and she has extraterrestrial roots as well. And I constantly talk to her. She gives me advice about what's going to happen, what I shouldn't do, what I should try. Psychic communication, higher self does exist. And if I don't pay attention, sometimes I miss things and I can get into trouble.
Yeah, I've gotten into trouble many times. I don't know about you, but if I come down with a really, really bad cold, like a really bad, flu or cold, all of my energy is going to healing myself, and my psychic gifts kind of go out the door. So like my inability to get answers from my higher self gets kind of dampered down quite a bit when my body is, when all the energy is going to trying to heal my own body. So, so I have actually made some bad business decisions by trying to sign contracts while I was sick with a really bad cold, which I will never do again as long as I live. Because, yeah, worst thing to do is when your psychic abilities are being hampered somehow by a cold or illness and you can't make a good, accurate decision. It's not good.
Yeah, I also studied Wicca light magic. And what the first thing is my magic teacher told me is, don't do psychic sessions or healing sessions when you're sick yourself to the point where your ability is just, you're trying to heal yourself. Your ability is out the door at the moment because you can't balance the energy. When you're sick yourself, you can't heal others. That's just...
No, you can't.
Sometimes, you know, I've had to reschedule sessions that I've set up that were prepaid already. But I said to the clients, I'm sorry, I don't feel well, I'm sick. So it's for their own safety, and they're not going to receive as good a session if I'm sick. They just won't. So I have an accountability for myself. If I'm sick or if something is going on in my life that's super intrusive and it's like traumatic, I'm not going to be 100% present to do a good healing. I don't do it then. I reschedule. There's no, it's not bad to reschedule things sometimes, because as a healer, I take accountability for myself and the people I work with for healing, because I want them to get the best session they can for me. If I'm not there 100% and I'm not accountable physically, emotionally, I'm not healthy, then I have no business healing. Or doing psychic readings for that matter when I'm in those states, so I don't. I'm accountable for the actions that I take in my business as well.
Yeah. So that's a good way to end this, because I've got to get running here because my time is kind of out. So this is a good way to end this. How can people contact you now that they know kind of who you are and what you do and how you work with people? What is the best way for people to get a hold of you if they want a session?
Well, I have a website called Messages from a Star Traveler, where you could book any type of session, healing session, energy healing, psychic readings, past life regression, soul retrieval, astral travel courses. You can do it through Messages through a Star Traveler. The email is seekingthetruthinreality@gmail.com.
I'll post all these in the comments, or I mean in the description too, but I just wanted you to say what, you know, you thought was the best way for people to.
Yeah, it's Messages from a Star Traveler. The website shows all the sessions that a person can take for whatever they want, healing, psychic stuff, teaching courses. My book is also sold online through my website. It's Crystal Bright Creations, The Art of Healing with Crystals, so that they could buy a PDF copy for me, or they could buy the physical book on Amazon.
Okay. So, I was going to ask that too. I was going to ask where people can get your book. So thank you for that.
Yeah. through my website or through Amazon. So
awesome. All right. Well, I am so grateful for you joining me here today and allowing me to interview you. Thank you so much, Ileana. I am very grateful for you. And maybe we can do this again sometime about another subject, because you and I both have a lot in common with the work you do and the work I do. There's a lot of stuff you do different than I do, but there's some crossover too. And so we have a lot in common. So maybe we can talk about another subject of interest to everybody on another YouTube video. But I really appreciate you, and thank you for your time today. Is there anything else, like last minute advice you want to send everybody off with?
Yeah, just follow your own intuition and guidance with your senses. If you don't feel right about something, then check in with your inner self to see what's going on. Because if you're not 100% sure about something, just take the time to figure out why, so you can make a wise decision. That's a little piece of wisdom I've learned to do, to check in before I make decisions. Because if it doesn't feel good to me, there's a reason why it doesn't. So figure out what you can do to change it so it does feel good to do something and make wise decisions. so you don't end up regretting something. So that's kind of inner wisdom, discernment. Follow that. Like, that's the beginning of psychic development, trusting your inner wisdom. And if it doesn't feel right, check in why with your own intuition, because gut feelings and following feelings and figure out why you feel the way you do is part of the first thing that a psychic goes through and learns. Why is that? And it helps you make better decisions. So that's kind of something I've learned recently. Check in with myself more often because it helps me to make better life choices. So that's kind of the last little thing I'd say.
Perfect. That is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for sharing everything today with us and all of my viewers. And thank all of you who are watching this video for joining me on my channel. If you like this video, if it was of value to you, please hit the like button. It makes it so more people will see the video. And please subscribe to my channel if you find my videos of value, and hit the notification button so you know when new ones will be coming up. And if you can share this with people who you think this information will be helpful for, I really appreciate that. I am so grateful for all of you, and I thank you all for joining me here today, and I wish you many blessings. Bye.
Bye.